First topic, basic points. First, what is an EPC? EPC stands for Engineering, Procurement, and Construction. Engineering means the design stage of the project. Procurement means procuring the materials and equipment needed for the project. And construction means the construction work. So this is called EPC. Engineering, Procurement, and Construction. Is it clear? Next, the contractor constructs the plant from scratch on an empty site and delivers it to the owner in an operational condition. So please look at this picture. Simply put, from nothing to an operational plant. Again, from nothing to an operational plant. This is the contractor's work under EPC project. Do you understand it? Next is the flow of EPC contracts. Please look at this picture. This is the flow of EPC contracts. I want you to remember this flow so that you can write it without looking at anything else. Because if you remember this flow, you can benefit. For example, if some event happens or accident arises, if some event happens during this period, you can understand where the issue or accident arises within the project timeline, and you can identify relevant clauses in an EPC contract. As you know, there are many clauses in an EPC contract, but if you remember and understand this flow, you can identify the relevant clauses immediately, so you will be able to address issues and accidents promptly. But you may think that you have a lot of information to remember. However, if you divide this flow into 3 categories like this, the first category is work, the second category is payments, and the third category is liabilities. In that case, you will be able to understand this flow easily. Is it clear? Again, if you divide this flow into 3 categories, you will be able to understand this flow easily. So, let's take a look at each part of the flow together. Let's take a look at flow of work. First of all, the owner submits a request for quotation or a request for proposal to potential contractors. Potential contractors are often called bidders or tenders. After that, the bidders prepare bid documents and submit bid document to the owner. Then negotiations start, and only one bidder will be awarded the contract, and the contractor and the owner signs EPC contract. After that, the contractor starts the work, engineering and design, procurement, and construction. After the construction is completed, test procedure starts. If the plant meets all requirements, taking over occurs. After taking over, the defect liability period starts. So simply put, from nothing, from scratch to an operational plant. From nothing to an operational plant. This is the flow of work. Do you understand it? The second flow is the flow of payments. This is very easy. As you know, the owner must pay the contract price to the contractor. The first payment is an advance payment. The amount is typically 10 to 20% of the contract price. Of course, this varies from contract to contract, but typically it is 10 to 20%. After that, there are some interim payments, by around the time of taking over. The total payment will reach 90 to 95% of the contract price, and the remaining 5 to 10% of the contract price will be paid to the contractor after the defect liability period. So this is very easy. Do you understand it? First, advance payment. Next, interim payments. Last, final payment. The total is 100% of the contract price. This is the flow of payments. Very easy. Lastly, the flow of liabilities. As you know, the contractor must complete the plant by the deadline. The deadline is typically set at completion of construction or at the taking over date. But I think typically the deadline is set at taking over, around here. If the contractor fails to complete the plant by the deadline, the contractor must pay delay liquidated damages to the owner. And if, during the test procedure, the plant does not meet the performance guarantees, the contractor must pay performance LDs to the owner. And during the defect liability period, if a defect is found, the contractor must rectify the defect at the contractor's cost. This is called the contractor's defect liability or the contractor's warranty. And if the contractor damages third party's body, third party's property, or third party's intellectual property rights, in that case, the contractor must indemnify the owner against third-party claims. This is called third-party damage. Is it clear? And next, the risk of loss. Risk of loss means, for example, an event not attributable to either party damages the plant or the plant is destroyed. In that case, the contractor must repair or replace the plant. Then the question is, which party should bear the cost of repairing the plant? Again, which party should bear the cost of repairing the plant? This is called risk of loss issue. Typically, from contract signing to taking over, the contractor must bear the risk. But after the taking over, the owner must bear the risk. This is called risk of loss issue. And finally, the contractor is typically required to submit bonds, a bid bond, a performance bond, an advance payment bond, and warranty bond. A bond is actually submitted by a bank, so it is often called a bank guarantee. A bank guarantee is a security instrument against the contractor's breach of contract. This is a flow of liabilities. Is it clear? So, let's fill in the blanks below. Practice is very important. Let's fill in the blanks below.